Hello and welcome to ITuber, an expert channel where we talk about the latest news and trends in crypto world, ICO development, and blockchain industry. Today, our guest is Hubii, and the speaker is the founder of the project, Jacobo Toll-Messia. Hello, Jacobo.
Hello.
Thank you very much for agreeing to be here and to talk to us. Let's start from the first question. Tell us briefly about your project and the main idea behind it.
Sure. So we started with Hubii many years ago. Originally, we started as a location-based news aggregator. Soon after we started working, we were approached by Mozilla, and we were working with them on their Firefox OS project. Soon after that, we found ourselves working with Mozilla and some of their partners, those being telecom operators, OEMs, and so forth. And as we were developing a product, a location-based app for Mozilla, at the same time, these partners asked us to use our API to power their different products. So what happened then was that we had two different workflows going on, one of them with Mozilla, the other one with our engine and these partners. And suddenly these companies started using our product, and they were providing news content to millions of users. So what happened on the following 12 months was that unfortunately Mozilla had to cancel the Firefox OS project. And we were providing service to 50 million users a day through these different partnerships and service. So if you fast forward a couple of more years, we found ourselves working between content creators and content distributors. And then we realized that the business, unfortunately, does not scale the way we wish. So in December last year, we went back to the whiteboard and we started thinking, what could we do next in a way that still gives us the ability to leverage all the work we have done, so all the partnerships we have, all the users we have, and so forth, and yet fix some of the pain points that we are aware of. Because keep in mind, we have been working for 5 years with content creators and content distributors. And then we realized that blockchain was potentially one of those avenues we would like to follow. So we did a fair amount of due diligence and analysis, and suddenly we realized that it was answering a lot of the questions we had. So we felt quite confident. And then from there onwards, what happened was that the last 4 months, we have been actively working on the white paper. We have put a fair amount of thinking and hundreds of hours into it. We feel very confident. And long story short, we would like to change the offering we have today. And therefore, we would like to build a blockchain-based decentralized content marketplace.
Mm-hmm. So how does the blockchain help you in this project then?
In many ways, because keep in mind that what we have is us as a company working between content creators and distributors. So we would like to subtract ourselves from that equation, and we would like to replace that, our figure, with a complete transparent and frictionless marketplace, right? So in one end, we would like to help content distributors, and on the other end, we would like to also help content creators. So by content distributors, again, we mean mainly, for example, the OEMs like Xiaomi, Alcatel, Huawei, and so forth, or Telenor, Telefonica, and the telecom operators. And by content creators, we do mean indeed the journalists, the musicians, the video producers, and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
so yeah, continue. Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
So when you said we, you mean the team, right?
Yes,
tell us about the team. How long you've known each other, and what are their background?
Well, the team is a small team. We're 5 of us. We have Jens Ivar Jodra, who I've known for a decade, I presume. He is the CTO of the company. We have worked together in the past for many years as well. His background is in nuclear physics. But of course, he sold himself to capitalism, like most of us who might not have a software background. Then we have Mark Briscombe, who also did physics, and he has been working blockchain since 2011. We have Oyvind Pedersen, who has also been a blockchain enthusiast for, I would say, 4 or 5 years, I think. And we have Barbara Hubii, whose background is in communications. So, and then myself, my background is in software engineering. I've been building software products for 20 years now in different industries, from telecom to investment banking, oil and gas, and so forth. So we are, I would say, all of us on our 40s almost, sort of thing. And we have been around for a while, and we have built different products and companies. Yeah.
That sounds like a big advantage, actually. And are there any high-profile advisors?
We do, actually. We do have quite a bit of high-profile advisors. So keep in mind that because we're an existing business and we have been around for a while, and we have had the opportunity to spend time with good people, we were able to recruit people with a big name that already knew we had been around for a while, and they knew about our successes, the small ones, and then failures as well. So they were quite content with it. So, for example, we have David Schlesinger, who is the former editor-in-chief of Reuters. We do have, for instance, John Patton, who is the founder of Digital First Media, which is the second largest publishing house in the US. Currently, he is on the board of directors of The Guardian, El País, Grupo Prisa, and a few other ones. So, yeah, we do have people who knows the business quite well. Yeah.
What about an escrow agent? Is there one?
No, we do not have an escrow agent. We do not. However, we have committed ourselves to take care of the funds in a partnership fund, and it will be released into annual releases. And then our liquidity fund has to be liquid. So, but no.
Okay, so in the beginning of our interview, you told us about the problem Hubii will be solving. Tell us more about it.
Right. So that's a good question. So if we think about content creators, these guys have been for a long time the guys that have been either underpaid or the works have not been respected in the digital world and so forth. So what we're going to be able to do with blockchain is to give them power and somehow change the rules of engagement, right? So keep in mind that what we're trying to build is a two-sided network. So there are problems that we need to fix on one end and problems that we need to fix on the other end. So first of all, I'm talking about the content creators, right? So in terms of content creators, what we're going to do is just, again, give them the ability to be able to decide over what they would like to do with their content, how much they would like to get paid, for example, where their content could be distributed and not, and many other things. And this all, of course, all that will be embedded within the utility of the token, right? At the other end of the network, of the two-sided marketplace, then we will have the content distributors. And again, we have been working with them for a few years, and the pains they have are multiple. Like, for example, how can they get hold of content, right? So, for instance, one of our largest partners is in Southeast Asia, and we provide them with content in Myanmar, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, right? So the way it works is that we have to go out there and speak with the different content providers and sign agreements, and then do an integration, bring it into our engine, so then this company can plug into our engine to distribute it further. And that is, let's just say, there's a lot of friction in that process. A lot of moving parts, many things can break, apart from taking an awful amount of time. So in that sense, the problems will be fixed, or the problems that will be fixed for the content distributor is that we aim at having a constant pool of content, right? One single point of integration, and basically you can get hold of all the content you wish. So again, it will eliminate a lot of friction on both ends. Yeah.
So there should be some competitors in the market right now. Have you looked into this question? Who are they, and how are you better than they are?
Right. So when you talk about competitors, what do you mean? You mean old business model or new business model, right?
Let's go for both.
Both. Okay. So in terms of old business model, there are a lot of wannabes. Yes, there are a couple of really good companies. Most of them tend to be news aggregators that might have not been able to reach a good market fit, like, for example, might have happened to us, and then they open their engine. However, the biggest difference is that because we started as a location-based news aggregator, we paid a special attention to local and hyperlocal content, right? So there is a clear trend of engagement. So the more local and hyperlocal the content is, the engagement goes up, and that is what people want. Some of those guys, well, they're well-known news aggregators. So yeah, so they're well documented, all of them. In terms of the blockchain, well, there's companies like Estimate, for example, that are focusing on content creation and publishing. But keep in mind that we are widening our offering, right? So we're not only going to focus on news, it's also news, still images, video, and music. So in that sense, we don't think that there is a company covering all those verticals.
Mhm. Okay, so just to wrap it up, in a sentence, tell me about the vision of the project.
The vision of the project is to create a frictionless, fully transparent marketplace where content creators and content distributors meet each other and can do all the trading. So we're just an enabler. We don't want to be hands-on as we are today. We just want to make sure that our token has got all the utility that is required. That's one thing. And second, that we fix pain points for both ends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to the idea of the tokens and tell me about the role of the tokens in the project.
So, of course, when trading happens, something needs to be paid, and that will be paid indeed with the tokens. But that is the easy part, right? So we have paid quite a bit of attention to the game theory when designing some of the functionalities we would like to apply to the token. So I can give you some of the examples in the use cases that we have described, and one of them is, of course, the fake news detection, right? So in that regard, what we want to make sure, if we think about a hypothetical case, right? So a journalist would like to publish an article. Let's just say that this article touches upon some very interesting facts, and he or she would like those facts to be verified. In that sense, what he or she could do is allocate a percentage of the earnings of that article in return for fact-checking from within the community, right? So that fact-checking can only be done by token holders, right? So I can publish, and you could show up to do the fact-checking. And of course, you do so, and then if that is correct, then you will get a percentage of the earnings. And of course, you immediately are going to think, well, but isn't that really incentivizing people lying? Because if I check, and I get money, mm-hmm. what is the purpose of it? So the purpose, of course, is that the same way that we will reward the person who can fact-check, we will also penalize those who are lying, right? So in a way that it will be very expensive for somebody to lie within the system, right? So it doesn't really matter that if somebody holds 90% of the tokens, even if there's a small minority of people being able to identify that there is a lie on the fact-checking, then that person will get heavily punished. So again, it's a system that will be fully transparent, and it will auto-regulate itself thanks to the utility of the token.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood this part, but
sure.
When you say fact-checking and penalizing, so does that mean that there's going to be a group of people who will be checking this?
Of course.
Or is it okay? Mm-hmm.
Of course. So, but only people with who has got the tokens will be able to do so, right?
All right. And what are the incentives of the token holders to actually fact check and say, yes, it's right, and not?
Of course.
Maybe they will be people interested in actually pushing this kind of, let's say, fake news.
Absolutely.
How are you going to incentivize them to actually be work properly?
Absolutely. So again, imagine if we go back to this example, I publish the article and I say I would like to allocate 10%, for example, of the earnings of that article to those who will help us to fact check that article, right? And then you would like to go and check it, and then you say it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, and then you give your credibility to those fact checks. But then the next person identifies that you have actually been lying, right? So if we can actually prove that through the system, it means that you will be heavily penalized for that. So you will be losing tokens. You will be losing not only the credibility, but also the tokens. So it will be very, very expensive to lie, right? That is the whole point and the whole part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Tell me about this part. What will the token holders get except for being able to work on the platform? Do they get some dividends from the profits of the company?
No, absolutely not. I mean, our token in no way is a security, and trust me that we have spent a fair amount of time and money and just to make sure that is the case. So if you allow me to chip in on that one, we have done the Hubii test just to make sure that our token is very safe, right? So as you know, it goes from 0 to 100. The results of the Hubii test, and we are pretty much at the bottom of it. So our token, it is not a security.
Okay, explain me that part. What kind of test are you talking about?
It's called a Hubii, H-O-W-E-Y. Well, it's basically a test which was designed many years ago, whereby you can use it to determine if that element is a security or not under US regulations, right? As you might remember, the SEC a few weeks back just brought up an announcement saying, watch out, ICOs, we're watching you because quite a bit of you are a security. And as mentioned before, we dictated very clearly with which path we wanted to follow, because we're an existing company, we have partners, we have a reputation, and it has taken us an awful amount of time to get here. So we did not want to be associated with anything like a scam. Consequently, we spoke with our lawyers, and we decided that the best way was to have open book policy and do everything as we should. And in this case, we had to go through the Hubii test, and the result was very satisfactory.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for detailed information. Sure. Tell me about the roadmap.
Okay, so the roadmap consists of 4 major releases, right? Each release on a per vertical basis of type of content. So that is text, images, music, and video. And foremost, it will be text. That is, again, what is really close to our hearts because we have been doing it for a long time. And on top of that, we do have a lot of technology we can reuse. At this moment in time, it's proprietary technology. We know that. However, moving forward with regards to the Hubii network marketplace, everything will be and everything we can, of course, it will be in open source, right? And what we would like to do is just to get cracking as soon as possible post ICO. And we're aiming at releasing a release candidate towards the end of the year to between 10 to 15 million users. Again, keep in mind, we are an existing business. We do have distribution in place. Some of our partners are going publicly about it. They're even showing up to interviews because different media would like to talk to them. In the case of Telenor, which is, I think that you should know at least who Telenor is, considering that you're in Oslo today. And yeah, and then after that, we will move on to new areas for us, which is images, music, and video.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you covered this question, but I want to ask it just to make it clear. So, who is the target audience in the project?
Again, so we do have 2 sets of network. In one end will be content creators.
Mm-hmm.
And undoubtedly, those are the most important people for us. And reason being is because after working with them for a long time, we know the pain points they have. And when you build a 2-sided network, you have a number of chicken and the egg problems, right? So in our case, we do have some advantages because we already have the distribution. Because one of the most normal chicken and the egg problems to have in this sort of marketplace would be, if I'm a journalist, if I'm a musician, why do I want to give you my content if you do not have audience? So in our case, we do have the audience, which are the users, the 50 million users we reach out to every day. And then at the other end of our target audience will be these distributors, right? Like, for example, we can speak again about Telenor and some of the pain points we will be able to fix for them by deploying this platform. Meaning they will not need to talk to us. They will be able to go and source the content directly from within the platform.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there a prototype of the platform? And is there an initial code which can be found on GitHub?
Okay. When you talk about the platform, you mean the blockchain? No, we do not have anything. About Hubii.com or our API, everything is in production and it is up and running. It has been up and running for 4 years now. And again, it's being used by millions of users every day. So, yeah.
Okay, what about the initial code?
The initial code for the what?
Initial code for the yeah.
For Hubii.com?
Yes.
Everything is done and is being used by partners. So they're using our API to ingest content, but we don't have Hubii.network. The marketplace is not yet built now. Mm-hmm. That will be built post ICO. So that's what we will be doing between September and December, which is, for example, developing the smart contracts just to make sure we provide the business rules to the content creators. So when they submit their content, that content is protected by different utility or different business rules will be able to apply to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me about the challenges you had before reaching this point of starting an ICO, and maybe the challenges you are having now, and how are you going to tackle them?
You mean the challenges coming up to the ICO?
Yes.
Many because, well, there is no such a thing as a handbook with regards to how to go for an ICO. And many because if you want to go the transparent way and you want to come across like a well-rounded company, then you need to spend an awful amount of time making sure people understand that you are, that you have some level of credibility. So in that sense, it took us a couple of weeks to really come up with a very concrete communication plan and a very concrete set of actions to follow. But then after that, we have just really focused on the work, right? So the white paper, we have dedicated a lot of time to the white paper, once again. And we do think we have done a good job. Although we're very humble, we should be able to say it out loud. We think it's a pretty good piece of work. And indeed, we're getting a lot of praise from within the community. And then after that, probably the biggest challenge has been navigating the legal aspect of the ICO. Because again, we are associated with big names, and we're associated with people who has been in this business for 40 years. So we just wanted to make sure that for their own sake and our own sake, things were going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, yeah, I guess those would be the biggest challenges.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go to the ICO itself.
Sure.
Today, I found out that the start of the ICO was planned for earlier, and then it said that you postponed it until 17th because of all this hype about the hard fork, about the SegWit, the Bitcoin in general. So, and now you just told me that you're going to postpone it again.
That's correct.
Can you tell me the reasons for that, and what are you aiming at?
Right. So there are really a couple of reasons. One of them is that we would like to do further testing of our smart contract. So we have been working with two high-profile companies. One of them is CoinFabric, which has been used to develop our smart contract. The other one is Smart Contract Solutions, which was used to perform the audit of our contract, right? And all that is public. So the audit, I don't know if you have spent some time reading it, but it's very detailed. It's very good. So again, so we'd like to do some more testing, right? That's point number one, because we want to make sure that whatever happens during the sale is well done. That's point number one. And the second point is because we're still waiting for some clarification from our legal team when in Singapore, because our ICO will be run from our affiliate company in Singapore. So we have contacted the MAS, which is the Monetary Authority of Singapore. We are in contact with them, and we would like to talk yet a couple of more times just to make sure that we do everything as it should.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two main reasons.
Uh-huh. Okay, so it gives time to our audience to actually go onto your website and study the project carefully, and
Perfect.
yes, get involved in this. So tell us about the conditions for the participation in the ICO. How many tokens there will be in general? How many tokens will be sold? And a pre-sale maybe if you have. And what are the planned price for a token?
Okay, so we do not have a pre-sale. Until today, we have a hidden cap, but in the next few hours, we will change that. We will make a fixed cap, and we will announce what the cap is. And with regards to the number of tokens, it is 1,000 HAP per Ether that is going to be. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully in the next couple of hours, we'll be able to announce via Twitter exactly what is our max cap, because now it's going to be a max cap. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what are you going to do with the ones that are not sold out during the ICO?
So we have a partners fund. So and that's going to be to incentivize partnerships, right? So keep in mind once again that we have an existing business. We are going to have these chicken and the egg problems, and we need something to incentivize the trading from happening. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the main purpose of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you yeah, continue, sorry.
No, and then of course that will last over 3 years, right? So we are, yeah.
Okay. Do you have any agreements with exchange markets, or maybe you are planning to have some agreements?
We are planning to have many of them, but we're a small team and very dedicated. So when you were asking me before, what are the main challenges of going out to the ICO, it was just to have a very clear and determined set of steps. Sorry about the background noise, but now it has to start raining a lot. So we decided to have a very clear set of steps one at a time. And we didn't want to spread ourselves too thin. So as soon as the token sale starts going on, we will focus on listing our tokens onto specific marketplaces. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm done with the standard questions, and now you have time to address our audience directly.
Oh, perfect. So the only thing we'd like to say is that we have been around for a while. We have gained quite a bit of knowledge when it comes down to content creators and content distributors. We have a powerful distribution network. We're reaching today to 50 million users. We work with companies of the caliber of Telenor. We do have very, very strong advisors who are very enthusiastic about our product. We are very much aware of the issues that we're going to be facing post-ICO. We feel very confident, though, that we'll be able to overcome them. And most importantly, over the next 3, 4, 5 days as well, we will start making some big announcements on our Twitter feed as well. So, you know, they can contact us anytime. We are only one email away or one tweet away. And by the way, feel free to distribute our contact details to your users, to your readers, to your watchers. And that's it. And we hope to see you on the ICO, and I'm sure it will be a success for all of us.
Great. Jacobo, thank you so much for this interview.
My
It was
pleasure.
a pleasure to talk to you. I rarely get to talk to such a sincere and honest person like you are.
I hope that you know that they also appreciate that.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure that the audience will see this as well and appreciate it.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, dear audience, if you like this video, please put like, write your questions in the comment section, and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss out on the latest news and interviews. In the description below the video, you'll find links to the Telegram groups with news and insights on cryptocurrencies, and also on how to work in crypto markets. Also, subscribe to our blog on Golos, the first Russian social network on blockchain, and make money on content, likes, and comments. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.
Thank you.